He's a black widow. Look at that creepy thing, man. Creepy. Okay, today we are going to start on a desk for a photographer friend of mine. He came to me been a couple weeks ago, and we come up with a plan on how we want to build this desk. And what it is he's taken this butcher block. He does photography for bands, so you got different bands, different places that he's traveled to. And what he's done is he's put those in acrylic on a butcher block, and then behind it, you've got fiber optic lighting running to it. So what we're gonna do that he's asked is build a custom desk. So I've got all the steel ready, laid out on the floor, and it's kind of a design out of my head type of deal, which is gonna be pretty cool when it's all done. Strap, steel. We'll cut a lip around the top where this sits, just to where it sticks up just a little teeny bit on the top of the desk. Let's get these, and then I'll start getting cutting and get it laid out. So I've got a door laid out here. We'll tack it all in place. This is where the butcher blocks will sit down in. We'll have it sit just about 1/4 inch high when we're all said and done. But I'm gonna go through, tack it, make sure it's all square. I'll move it around. That welder's freaking nice, dude. What we've decided is we're gonna put that 2-inch tubing inside here and kind of build a box down inside where the butcher block desk is gonna sit. The desk will sit up about 1/4 inch here. Once we build that entire box, we'll weld it all in place, make sure everything's square. That'll give us our structure for our legs that'll come down. We've got a whole new design on how we're going to do the legs. It'll be a lot different than you normally see. And then we'll go through, we'll have to put in some 1/2-inch risers to get the butcher block up off the channel. So we're going to cut them at a 45 and come in and 45 each one of these corners so it sits nice and tight and we can weld it tight. We've got our first piece on the saw here. Get them all cut and we'll start welding it in place once we get it test fit. Oh yeah. Well, it's a new day in the shop. We're just got a bunch of our 45s cut for the legs. I'm gonna lay them all out on the table. I've got a pretty cool design that I've come up with. What you typically see, just so it's different, you know, so it's something that's unique to this table. So I've measured out and kind of figured out how I want to do my legs. These will weld onto the bottom of that setup, and so right there, 45-degree angle here. And what I'm going to do, weld these two together. First off, I've got to cut this at 30 inches flat, and that flat will butt up against the bottom of that and we'll weld it. So we'll get these cut. Get the other one marked in there and get it cut and start laying it out. All right, I'm gonna run to the hardware store. I've got to get a couple of adjustable feet. Well, 4. I'm gonna get 4 adjustable feet. So we'll put them here, here, and on the other side. Just so if it's on unlevel floor, unlevel concrete, or whatever it is that they're gonna put it on, they can adjust those feet and they're rubber and we don't have this metal on the floor. And I'll weld the nuts right inside there. On each end of these, I'll weld around the nut. That way you can adjust the leg. You'll have the lock nut up underneath and the nut inside will be stationary, it'll be welded in, so when you go to adjust it, you're not trying to fight it. We'll get some feet, get the holes drilled, and keep moving on. Well, went and got some feet. These are the feet here. All right, I'm just gonna file those and clean them up, deburr them, and then I'm gonna use this bolt, which is just a typical 1/4-20 bolt. Yeah, I'll tighten that in there in the hole, and then I'll tack weld around that because I don't want to burn the rubber on those feet. So we'll just use this bolt to hold it in place while we put a couple small tacks around each one, and then our legs are done. There it is. Got the holes. We'll tighten it down like that. I'll get the welder ready and we'll get them welded. Get those welded up. Keep on moving. Let's get all these cleaned up. Get everything ready to weld. When I grind these, I grind a little bevel right there. I'm not sure if you can see that with the way the camera is. I'll do that to these uprights as well. That way, when I bring them together, it gives me a little V to run my bead down in. And then it's a nice clean weld. And once we grind it, we're not grinding a bunch of the weld off from butt welding it. We've got that V and that weld still penetrated down inside there. So, and we'll start welding. Look at that smoker. She's a little hot. All right, so I've cut this cap out for right here. This is what sits on the floor. We'll put the studs, the adjusters, they go in there, they thread in there. Sandblasted and powder coated. It'll all look like one. I've got all these structure pieces that I'm building, putting around here. I'm gonna attempt to cut this 45 by hand. We'll see what happens. All right, check that out. We'll weld this here and all over it there. This is where the top will sit, so that's what the side will look like. We're gonna lay out the other leg. I know that looks like somewhat of a K, but once the top's on it, it won't. But anyway, that one's all cleaned up. Got a little bit more cleaning up on it to do, but yeah, it turned out pretty good. So this is where the top of the desk will sit. So I've got to build one more of those. That one's gonna go there. Piece figured out. This is it here, but I've got to cut a 45 on it. Go in there. We'll get this put into place. It's all laid out on the table. I'm gonna tack weld it in here, there, and then we'll go through and finish weld it. Time to set that top on. All right, I've got these kind of laid out how I want them. The distance part. Now let's see if I can set this desktop on without killing myself. It's pretty heavy. I'm gonna have to make some adjustments on it. Look at that. It's awesome. Like I said, we'll make some adjustments, but that's a pretty cool desk. We'll get it squared up. time to start doing some grinding and cleaning up a little bit. We'll get the spacers built where the top sits down inside there. Just gonna build some 1/2-inch spacers and then a small box somewhere back here for power box to light up the fiber optics. Let's let this cool down and then we'll get to grinding. Well, after having a couple other projects come through the shop, kind of interrupt me, I'm gonna get back going on this desk again. So to set this butcher block down in the top on this lip, I've got to bring it up just a little teeny bit. So looking right here, I don't want to set the butcher block directly on there. I want to bring it up about a 1/2 inch. Reason being is on the back of this butcher block, there is fiber optic lines that he's drilled and placed in there. I don't want to smash those. So what I'll do is I went through my stash of wrought iron, 1/2-inch wrought iron stuff, and I thought, well, I'll just use some of that. So I've got this here, 1/2-inch rod. So these ones are scrap ones. So I'm just gonna cut those up. Probably cut them into like, I don't know, 3-inch pieces, 4-inch pieces, and just lay them down through there, throughout, and weld them. All right, there's all 10 welded in, ready to go. Now, test fit of the butcher block. So just as I thought, doesn't fit all the way down. It's close, really close. These sides need to be cleaned up just a little bit. This back, I need to take quite a bit off. Look at that though, pretty cool. Let's get this block cleaned up and we'll move on to the machining portion of it. All right, so easy. Looks like we need to sand a little bit off still, huh? It's close though. Now, we've got to construct some sort of a box for this power box. So I want to mount it right there, and it's got to hook into these fiber optic lines. And then when I build the sheet metal bottom, I'll put my piano hinges across here, subflush, and then make a cutout of the sheet metal right there so that you can fold. I want to be able to fold that lid down so you can expose the fiber optics, but yet keep that up when you need to hide them. So, but check this out. This is so awesome for us, and this is way awesome for Tanner Works and Do It Bro and all that. I've got a roller here that I just picked up. I've got a brake for bending metal. It's got the fingers on it and everything. And I also received a shear for shearing sheet metal. This just puts us on a different level as far as being able to do other work and expand the business. And for you guys to watch as we do more complicated builds and cooler things. I'm just excited. I like tools. I have an addiction to tools. Obviously, you look around. Anyway, back to the desk build. Let's get a box bent up and built for holding that little power box that powers try to get this thing out of the shop. I came up with a really cool idea, and I'll show you guys that in a little bit after we get this box built. I got my piece of small, well, it's like 11 by 11 piece of sheet metal cut out. Now I'm gonna mark it up, shear it and bend it, and show you guys how my new shear works. So I've got to make a piece 3 by 11. Come check this out. Watch how how good this shear works. Ridge mark there. So smooth. Now, there's our 3 by 11 piece. We'll bend that up and make that a holder for that power box. So I'm gonna take on this brake. We're gonna learn how to use it though. So I'm just gonna put a small lip on here just to weld to when we set this box on. So that'll be kind of a weld lip. That'll sit on the bottom of that desk, and we'll come up and bend this around. So a little bit of a weld lip. maybe we'll drill a couple holes in it, plug weld it. Let's get a measurement. Okay, we got to go 4 3/8 on the height of that. Alright, so that'll mount down like that. That'll wrap around. And then that box is 4 3/8 by 4 3/8. So a little further, there's a reason for that. We want it to kind of clamp onto that. See, that's a little bit bendy. Weld this down. That'll clamp and hold that power box into place. So that was intentional. Let's go mount it and see how it does and holds on to it. Here's the power box. See how that just holds that in place? That's all we really need. Once you screw those in and it just stays in place, you know, because you're just plugging it into the wall and it's running all the fiber optic. Okay, let's get that sheet metal laid out. .21.5 by 46.5. So we've got our sheet metal over here. Okay. Now we're going to cut the bottom. Cut out the entire bottom for that whole square right there. We're going to use our shear that off, and then I'll go through with I got some power shears, some little ones. We'll round the edges off, make it like to where it's not sharp. And then we'll set it in place, weld some little angle tabs on there we'll drill down through and mount this to where it holds it in place, and we'll put the piano hinges on. But first off, let's get it sheared. Alright, let's go see how she fits. Well, it fits. Fits down in there perfect. Weld them on, drill them, and then run a tap through them, probably like I said, 1/4 20, and these will be the stops for when that lid closes, and then you can just tighten them down. Let's get these ground down, cleaned up, and welded on. .23, 14 and 23. Piano hinge. Let's go cut this. 14 and 24 and 23. Okay, we'll take a grinder and clean that up a little bit, but that should clear our box when we hinge that down. About what it's going to be like. Alright, I'm back at it this morning. Gotta get this desk finished up. I've got these L brackets that I cut. I think I'm going to throw them on the mill, drill them, tap them. They're going to mount there, and then when this lid closes, it'll screw onto those. We'll get this mocked up, set in place. We'll get the top put on it, make sure everything's working, rip it all apart, send it to powder coat. So, and again, I have a surprise with these carriage bolts here. I have a surprise that I'm going to throw into this. Keep watching, because these carriage bolts are going to look way cool mounted to this. Yeah, let's get going. What I've done is I've taken these magnets here and just kind of lined up everything where I want it. My hinges will sit down just like that. I've got to drill some holes down through here. I'll probably put belt tappers in it just to mock everything up like that. It should hinge down and be clear. Move our magnets. Good idea. So that will be the false bottom. Okay, let's try this out and get this cleaned up. All right, look what's back from the powder coater. Look at that. Turned out good. The desk is back. It's time to finish it up. They did a great job. Looks great. We just got to put the finishing touches on it. Nice. So I've changed my mind again. I decided I don't want the buttons, shiny buttons that I was gonna make into screws. I go back and forth, change my mind, don't like something like this. So this is what I've come up with. 1.125" bolt. We're gonna take that bolt. We sanded that stamped writing off. These are all done. I've got 12 of them going around. This is what I've come up with. As you can see, and I cut it off on the lathe and made it a little thinner. I also put a little nub on the end on each one. We'll get rid of this part. That's just a little nipple hanging off from where we parted. Start getting this desk done. I want to get it out of here. I can't wait for the customer to see it. So let's get it done. Oh, look how cool that is. Man, I think it's awesome. I think it's gonna work great. They're not too thick. They don't sit off there too high. And they're kind of got a dull finish, so it matches the rest of it. Oh man, I'm excited. Let's get these glued on. No turning back now. Okay, let's pray. Let's cross our fingers that this desktop fits. Cross our fingers, see what happens here. Man, that's awesome. I may have to use like, oh, wow, check this out. I'm over here working. Look at this. That is a Black Widow. It wasn't very far from me. This is where I'm working. And he just walked by. She, I should say. She's pretty good size too. Crazy. That was right by where I was working. Look at that creepy thing, man. Creepy. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that and then we'll get back to work. All right, I've got the bottom folded up last night. Today's D-Day, delivery day, man. Customer's gonna come here and pick it up, but nonetheless, we got the bottom done. Check this out. It's all folded up underneath there. All the fiber optics are tucked. These little bolts right here. So right there, they hold the bottom up. And then there's your power box and fiber optics running into it. So I'm gonna polish this top today, then it's time to clean the shop. Plugging it in, there's the remote to it. Let's turn off the light. All right, you ready? How cool is that? 2 different colors. They can fade. Cool. Pretty shiny. It's getting the glare off from the light. But anyway, that's lit up. Okay, check it out. There's the desk. It's all covered up. It's reveal time. The customer is almost here. I'm surprising with this because, I don't know, I just like surprises. We have Eric here. Eric's our customer. He's the one that asked us to build the desk for him. We want to see his reaction, so let's get his reaction to the desk. Are you ready? You ready?
Ready.
There's your brand new desk.
Dude.
What do you think of that?
That is awesome.
You like that?
I love it.
So it's kind of different. It's something that you don't see every day.
It's way different.
Here's the remote to it. I was gonna make a holder for it, but I thought, well, I don't know what he wants to do, but you can turn it on. It's all plugged in.
Nice.
All your fiber optics are hidden up underneath in a false bottom.
That is so cool.
And then I sat there and I thought, what can I do with the lathe? What can I do? So you know what, I'm gonna take some bolts, turn them down. So I drilled little holes in here. These are all JD welded in, so they're not gonna come off.
Oh, that's cool.
And
so this is the part, but with the lathe.
Yeah, so I was able to use the lathe
Cool.
and incorporate it into your desk. Because it was your dad's.
Yeah, it was my dad's desk, or my dad's lathe.
And when you look at it now, you'll go, yeah, that was made on my dad's lathe. So.
That is so cool.
And then I had to balance it out, so it'll hold. It doesn't move. I'll check over. It's completely sturdy. It's robust. Well, seems like he's happy with it. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and leave in the comments of what you guys want to see us build next, because we can build cars, desks, anything. So thank you.